Hello, welcome to Statecraft IAS and Social Perspectives Sociology in Newspaper series. In this series, we shall discuss daily news articles in sociological perspective and revise relevant sociology related UPSC mains concepts with the help of a newspaper on daily basis. In today's video, we have a picture saying "in deep waters" in the front page. It says a man lifts his bicycle as he wades through a waterlogged road after heavy rain in Bathinda, Punjab on Sunday. Now looking into this picture, it seems rains have occurred and rains are normal in nature. That means they are usual in character. That's why it is a normal social fact, if you want to talk in the language of Durkheim. But here if we can see, this water logging has occurred. This water logging is something unusual and hence it is pathological social fact and not normal social fact. Reacting to this pathological social fact, this man has moved to take up some social action. So this social action, in Weber's language, if you want to talk about, there are four social actions. One is recreational, and the other one is vertrational, third one is emotional, and fourth one is traditional. Recreational social action is something where means and ends both are rational. Vertrational is something where means are not rational and ends are rational. That means their goals are rational, but the path they chose to achieve that goal may not be rational, but these paths are legitimized and they are sanctified based on the value that is attributed to that particular goal. Traditional social action is something done out of tradition and out of cultural value. Emotional social action is something done out of emotions, which is quick reaction. That means immediate gratification. So this particular social action where man is lifting his bicycle and is driving through waterlogged area can be termed as recreational social action, because both his means and ends are rational in this particular example. But if you want to analyze whether that particular action is classifying as social action itself, under Weberian's definition is, Weberian's definition for social action, Weber's definition for social action is something which has meaning and orientation. Both meaning and orientation are necessary for an action to be classified as social action in Weber's perspective. Now in this particular example, that particular action has meaning, but on whom it is oriented towards? Nothing, no one. So orientation is not there in this particular example. So this particular action cannot be classified as social action under Weber's framework of social action. However, this can be said as social action under Talcott-Parsons' perspective. Talcott-Parsons terms social action as something which is done consciously. That means consciousness is necessary for any social action, any action to be termed as social action. Now based on that consciousness, Talcott-Parsons says for an action to take place and to be called as a social action, both motivational orientation and value orientation must have influenced that particular action. Now under motivational orientation, we have cognitive orientation. That means individual analyzes his environment based on his needs. Now this particular man has also analyzed his environment and has realized that he cannot go to his destination if he walks in a normal manner, or if he doesn't want to get drowned in water. So based on his need of going into his destination, he has chosen to get drowned in water and walk through that waterlogged area only. So it has cognition which is playing role in that particular action. And the other one is cathectic orientation. Cathectic is nothing but individual's own interest or emotion in that particular action. He has interest in going to his destination, and he has some emotion attached to that particular place, so he is going, and he has chosen to go in that particular manner only, despite it has been waterlogged. And the other one is evaluative orientation and motivational. Under evaluative, individual analyzes various options available to him or her and chooses the most efficient option among the available options. Now individual has another option also. He may buy a helicopter and he may go to his destination in helicopter, or he may buy a boat and go to his destination on boat. All these are available options, but out of those available options, walking into the drowned area and going into his destination by getting drowned in that waterlogged area is most efficient for him, because he may have considered his economic conditions or his immediate need or something else, and he has chosen that this particular action as most efficient. So evaluative orientation is also playing in this particular action. Under value orientation, there are again cognition, evaluation, and moral orientation taking place, and all this also play some role, as society has some expectation upon the individual, and individual takes those expectations into his consideration and chooses his action while performing any social action. So under Talcott Parsons' perspective, it is definitely a social action, because he has done this action out of consciousness. He was fully conscious while he was doing that particular action. So moving on to the next article, here it says, AAP champions patriotism, eyes more states. Political analysts say the Deshbhakti budget and push for nationalism could help the party's ambitions in other states, even as the opposition BJP and Congress in Delhi struggle to form a counter narrative to its patriotism campaign. Now what is happening is, this AAP government is Delhi is establishing various flag masts at various places in Delhi, and it is promoting Deshbhakti curriculum in schools, and it is eyeing more states to win over in next elections. Now this we can definitely say as power being exercised by AAP. Power concept, if you see, this is discussed both in Max Weber chapter and also politics and society chapter. Max Weber defines power as influence ability to influence others' actions even against their will. This is defined as power by Max Weber. However, power can be described as two types. One is coercive and the other one is authoritative. Coercive power is something which is done out of force, where the person who is subjected to that power may or may not have his consent towards that particular action. Whereas authoritative power is something which is legitimized in nature, and it is not so forceful and it is not so coercive. Now Max Weber says that power is a constant sum game. That means equation is constant here. Influencer plus influenced. Just to write it more clearly. Power exercised by influencer plus influenced is constant according to Max Weber. That means the more power the influencer exercises, the more power the influenced loses to make this sum constant. So power is a constant sum game according to Max Weber. Whereas functionalists like Parsons says power is a variable sum game, and sees this power as something functional to the society because power is exercised to the larger well-being of the society. That means the more power the influencer is exercised, it may not necessarily lead to less power of the influenced, and this sum is not constant but variable. That means more power the influencer, the influenced also may increase his power, or it may be constant, so that sum is becoming variable. This has been functionalist perspective on power. Now to understand this better, we have to go into the contents of this article. It says Deshbhakti curriculum. What are the themes of this curriculum? One is knowledge of constitutional values, plurality and diversity, freedom struggle, achievements, social problems. Values of honesty, integrity, humility, empathy, love and respect for country, compassion, sacrifice. Behavior like standing up against justice, scientific reasoning, and mindset, civic responsibility. Now by this we can understand that AAP government is influencing, that means it is exercising power. Now who are the influenced here? People are the influenced, and these are subjected to power. Now in Max Weber's perspective only, if we see, are these values in any way reducing the power of people? No, they are just empowering them and making them better human beings. That means what Max Weber has told as constant sum game is not being satisfied here, and this can be written as classical example of criticism to Max Weber's power, because by imposing such kind of curriculum, AAP government is definitely exercising its power, but that power is not necessarily resulting in the reduction in power of people. Even people's power is also increasing, because values like standing up against injustice or civic responsibility, all these are strengthening society. Compassion, strengthening society as a whole. That means power of people is increasing, and this is exactly what functionalists and Parsons have talked about power. They say power is not a constant sum game, it is a variable sum game. The more the power is exercised by the influencer, influenced power may also be increased because that power is exercised necessarily for the larger well-being of the society, and that is what is happening here. That means Max Weber's own theory can be used to criticize his own theory. So further, what Marxists say is that Marxists feel about power is that for them power is not authoritative but coercive. Just now we talked that power is of two types, one is coercive and the other one is authoritative. Now Max Weber and functionalists like Parsons, they feel that power is authoritative. That means they have seen the power in authoritative lens, whereas Marxists try to see the power in coercive lens. For them, power is nothing but have class exploiting have not class with coercion. And for them, for Marxists, this criteria for exploitation is primarily economic in nature, though this exploitation may extend to the spheres outside economy also. So this is what Marxists think about power. So that's all we have for today. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to Statecraft IAS. If you have any comments or criticisms, or if you have anything to say, please comment and let me know in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.